Hey, yo, welcome back to the Boston Sports Brothers podcast. You got the URI crew this evening. Kraz, Gabe, how are you, fellas?
Hey, another day,
Doing
another day.
well. How are
Happy
you,
Mondays,
man?
everybody.
It's good to see you. Good to see you. We got lots to dive into here as we're going to try and get back on our weekly schedule. Obviously, we got a rotating cast based on availability. Summer, busy time as always for the fellas. So let's dive right into it. And it's been a while since we've had a chance to talk Red Sox, Kraz, and have you lead the charge on that. So just set the table, the latest and greatest in terms of the Sox.
Yeah,
What's going on? There's a lot to dive into here.
yeah. I mean, I am a Red Sox. Let me rephrase that. I'm about as much of a Red Sox homer as a Red Sox homer can be. I did not expect Giolito to be this good. I did expect the team to be where they're at. I kind of expected them to be where um, Seattle and New York are kind of fighting for that last spot. That's kind of where I expected us to be. I didn't really think we would leapfrog and kind of hold on to that one place. Again, it's only by a few games, so anything can happen in a series. But the main things I really wanted just to touch on was the biggest one is how silently Roman Anthony is making a case for being rookie of the year. He's batting 283 with two home runs, which I mean the home runs aren't really impressive. The 283 impresses me, but what's ridiculous is that he's got an 828 slugging percent OBP. That is Mookie-esque. That is Mike Trout-esque. That is Aaron Judge-esque. That is top tier players-esque. Um, and I don't know if you remember when he came up, he wasn't doing that well. He was kind of struggling at the plate for a little bit. Um, and his batting average is up to 280. I mean, the kid from Seattle, I forgot his name. Yeah, he's making a good case, but Roman Anthony, just by the numbers itself, I mean, the kid had a walk off his first time in the Fenway Greens, and it literally was nothing but ice in the kid's veins. He
Yeah,
wasn't smiling, he wasn't jumping, he just threw his helmet up in the air, and I was just like, sign this fucking kid long term already and just get it over with because that's kind of what this new league is, and I think a lot of the leagues are tending towards this, and I'll see if you guys agree with me, but I've been seeing a lot more shorter contracts. Um, so yeah, I mean that's the way this team is. I know Eric, Biggie, and I really, and I wish Biggie was on here because we could kind of go back and forth a little bit. But our Red Sox have a winning record against teams above 500. We're 38 and 35. I did the actual looking at who we played and did the 1-1, 0-1, 1-2, 2-2, so on and
he
so
went
forth.
back.
And we're 38 and 5 against teams above 500. And I didn't include teams when we played them like Baltimore that were 500 or other teams that we played that we won that were above 500 at the time. So I'm talking about right now, like where this team is and who the top 10 teams are in the game and who's above 500 in the game right now, who we've beaten. And we're 38 and 5 against those teams.
35, 35, 38
Yeah,
and
38 and
35.
35. 38 and 35
Thought
against
you were
those
saying
teams.
five.
No,
38
no,
and
no.
5.
Five
I
would
wish
be,
that would be awesome.
yeah,
But no. And the other big thing is, if you would have told me that we were 9.5 games behind the Yankees and we'd be a game and a half above them now, I would have said you're crazy. Gigantic slide by them. We were able to pick up where they were losing. So hats off to the Sox. They just got to keep it up, and they're proving some people wrong, and I'm happy they are.
for sure. Gabe, want to chime in?
Yeah, to be honest, summer's been busy. I haven't had a ton of time to watch all the Red Sox games, but I think the one thing that's pulling me back in right now is the fact that the Red Sox just passed the Yankees in the AL East standings. And that to me is, I mean, I know the Yankees are having a really tough time right now, but as a Red Sox fan, that's the most exciting news ever. Like, we fucking hate the Yankees, and to like just to see the Red Sox soar in the standings, that I mean they could take hold of the AL East lead at any point now. I wouldn't put it past them at this point. But there's also the other side of me that is still weary, and I'm like, this has happened like in years prior, and they haven't made the playoffs. So I'm still, I look at the rotation, and you got Crochet, you got Giolito, you got Bayo. I would say those are your three most reliable pitchers right now. Um, But when you look at that in a playoff series, that's where it kind of scares me because Giolito, although he's having a great season, he could have one of those outings where he's a shell of himself. And same with Bayo. I'd love for him to prove us wrong, but you can't really fully trust him yet in that situation.
Yeah.
So I want to ease your tension with that because one of the guys, so Crochet, we don't know what we're going to get from Crochet in the playoffs, but I can tell you that just from watching it in years past, something with Walker Bueller just clicks in the playoffs and he becomes a different animal. I was talking about this with another friend of mine about how they were saying that, they wouldn't want Walker as, one of the top three starters. And I was like, he turns on a different switch when playoffs come around. So that's for me, I think about it that way. I don't know if they got him for the regular season because they thought he was a good pitcher or because they thought that they were going to go to the postseason and they could ride him because the Dodgers rode him. I mean, he made the final out in the World Series last year. So um, that's kind of how I look at it.
They definitely, I think the biggest difference for this team this year is that they got the ace in Crochet, but more so they've made Fenway Park a home field advantage.
Hmm.
Where in years past, Fenway just has not been a place that they've had much success. And that's a big difference this year. Kraz mentioned the monster uniforms, four walk-offs at Fenway this year in the monster greens, which is
I
fantastic.
am definitely getting one of those uniforms with my own number and name on it. I'm not getting a
Yeah.
player's jersey's name. We all
Uh,
know how that goes.
And then I
So
think, looking back on the week that was, the sweep versus Astros was impressive going up
it
against the
was
division leader.
huge.
And in years past, after let's talk a little bit about the trade deadline because there was so
Yeah.
much commotion and so much outrage. And
We can rip we
I
can
got to
rip we
rant
can
here
we
for a
can rip
second.
we can rip the front office a little bit on
You
this
can
one
rip the front
because
office, but
Craig they
my
tied Craig
position.
Breslow's hand.
Yeah, they tied his hands, but my position on this was that what did you expect them to do? This team hasn't done anything at the deadline over the past however many years, and everyone's clamoring for them to go
Since
out and make
Dombrowski.
this big splash, this big move. It's like that's not what this team does at this point in time. And the biggest difference is that you have a team that's currently constructed where they didn't want to part with any of the big league talent. The minor league talent the top end talent is not ones that you want to part with either at this point in time. So it's like, what did you expect them to do? And then they go out, and I got to call out some of these people, especially like fucking Hogdale and Justin MLB and Ed Hand and Carabas and all these and Peral and Milliken and all these motherfucking people who are sitting there bashing the front office, McCarthy even as well, people that we've had on, and then they go out and everything's sunshine, rainbows, and butterflies after they go ahead and sweep the Astros, and it's like the hypocrisy of Red Sox fans is so fucking annoying because on the one hand you're bashing the front office saying like why didn't they do anything, and then this team goes out and you're cheering for them and going bananas when Roman Anthony hits the walk off, and it's like can you just enjoy the fucking team and the ride that they're on right now? And like if you have expectations that this front office is going to do anything, then you haven't been paying attention since when they traded Mookie Betts because the front office is never going to do what you want them to do.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the other thing with that is that the one thing I wanted to touch on is if you look at the players that they got Dustin May, they got Steven Matz. 2 off seasons ago, they tried to get Steven Matz in the offseason and he ended up signing a 3 or 4 year deal with the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, let's backtrack to the Mookie Betts trade that we always go back to. We initially did not want Verdugo. There were two guys that the front office wanted, that Bloom wanted. He was gonna that he was like, okay, I'll part ways with him. Eventually, we did get Verdugo, but the two guys he wanted was Gavin Lux and one Dustin May. So for me, it's just like, where are they going with this? What do they see? What are they expecting? Do they expect him to be an arm in the postseason, or do they just expect him to give them innings from here until September, October, until the playoffs actually start, and kind of bridge that gap and give them, like I said, 50 to maybe 25 to 50 innings. Also, remember, I don't know where Patrick Sandoval is in his rehabilitation, but he's also coming back from Tommy John surgery. So a fresh arm coming off of Tommy John surgery is actually coming back to the Sox. So we'll see what they do. But I just find it interesting that the two guys that they picked up are two guys that they both tried to get in prior years.
Yeah, no, they've had their eyes on them, which is great. The injury bug is something that has bitten the Red Sox a little bit this year. How it goes down with season-ending Tommy John surgery. Once again, back to the front office, like he probably should have had surgery in April or May at this point.
Mm.
You got Dobbins, who's obviously done. Sounds like Marcelo Mayer's gonna try and get an injection and get back at some point this season, but to be seen
Come
when it
see me,
comes to them.
bro.
Yeah, yeah. Come go see Gabe. He'll take care of you. He
I'll hook
takes
him up.
yeah, yeah. Big John's appreciative of all your services as well. Right in the tush, baby.
All right, I don't
All right.
care.
That's gonna wrap up our Sox talk here. And they obviously continue on with series this week against Kansas City, and then they head back down to Houston for three down there. So the Sox, I think everything that we said at the beginning of the season, give us meaningful baseball as we head into September, and they're well positioned to do that, which is fantastic. And uh, speaking of September and what's on the horizon, Gabe's got his University of Texas polo on tonight,
That's
which
right. That's right.
as the preseason rankings for college football came out today, number one, Texas taking on Ohio State, number two in the first game or first week of the season, and then yours truly will be down there to see Arch Manning live. But shifting from college football, we're going to talk Pats here and dive into all things training camp. J Matt's not with us today, but Gabe, why don't you set the table with the Pats in terms of what's going on and everything that you've heard about the latest and greatest down in Foxboro?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like training camp is feels a lot different than it did the year past. There's a lot more competition at different positions, and it sounds to me like Drake May is actually showing out in training camp. I know he had, recently maybe one bad practice out of however many they've had, but I also think these joint practices with the Washington Commanders almost use the other name there.
That's all right.
Um,
No, they're trying to change it anyways
the
back.
Commandos. I think those joint practices will be really telling for this team and to kind of show where they're at because I think also Washington is a team that this team should look up to because they have the young quarterback and they had a pretty quick resurgence and did really well last year. So I think that these joint practices and we have a preseason game coming up against them. I think that will be really telling for this team and give us a lot more information.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Pats. As you said, different vibe out of training camp. No paintball or cornhole going on, or Gerard Mayo walking back, statements after week. Um, First preseason game is this Friday, which is crazy, but it's always good to see the fellas out there. I'm interested to see if they approach the preseason a little bit differently this year and give the starters a little more run to get ready and sort of hit the ground running. Um, but one thing that is of concern is these injuries that seem to be mounting up for them. Wide receiver Kendrick Bourne is down. I don't even know if he makes the team. But
Yeah, I don't know
the
either.
secondary is an issue.
Mhm.
Gonzalez and
Yeah,
Carlton Davis
yeah.
both injured, and then I think I might have this wrong. I think it was Marcellus Davis went down today with a non-contact injury, carted off.
Marcellus Dials, I
There
think
we
his name
go.
is.
You
Yeah.
got it. My bad. But that's the nature of football. Next man up
Hmm.
sort of mentality. Kraz, any thoughts on training camp or what you're looking ahead to in terms of the season?
No, I mean, like you said, you guys kind of touched on everything. I've been, just kind of watching and seeing what's been going on as far as the chemistry goes with Drake May and his, you know, wide receiver core. The thing that really interests me, I think, is the whole Terry McLaurin situation. We have a really young number one. A lot of the people on the radio don't call him a number one; they call him a 1A or a two. I'm gonna call him a number one. I'm telling you right now, he's my fan. He's my keeper in fantasy this year. This guy for the last like 4 years just so consistent and it. I love Stephon Diggs. I think he would be great too for Drake May. But if the opportunity presents itself and they're saying something as little as a second rounder and um, Stephon Diggs for Terry McLaurin, how do you say no to that? I mean, that's you got to do that because it's just going to help that kid out. It's just going to help May out. Again, I don't know how much of a relation. I mean, obviously the relationship's super, super close, but again, I don't know how on page Stephon Diggs and Drake May actually are. They're getting more and more on page as the whole uh, preseason goes on and training camp goes on. That's kind of the whole point of it. But to see someone like Terry McLaurin be in that locker room and sign him to a long-term deal and have an actual legit stud receiver. Not to say that Stephon Diggs isn't, but he's coming off of an ACL injury and kind of towards the tail end of his career. I'd rather have McLaurin than Stephon Diggs in that regards. But either guy works for me because they're both grinders.
Having them be running mates would be fantastic. I think,
That too.
uh, you know,
They've got the money.
they sure
They do.
do.
They
Bobby
do.
Bobby can open up that checkbook. He's about to put a
And if you want some wins,
big fat statue of Tommy Boy out there on Friday as well. So,
Yeah.
uh,
that
they
would
got
that
the
would
money.
scare a lot of secondaries having McLaurin and Stephon Diggs out there with what's his name, Efton.
They got
Yeah.
Efton Chisholm. I don't even know if he makes this roster. He's probably going
Maybe
to
as
be
a
on
special
on
teamer.
yeah, maybe, or on the practice squad. I wouldn't be surprised if this team goes with 7 wide receivers at a camp. But don't forget, last year I think Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry as the tight end combination did have a really solid rapport with May, and are going to be involved in the passing game. And nobody is talking
100%.
about them from the tight end position to spend wide receiver heavy. But you got 2 veteran tight ends that are going to be active as well. Excited to see the running back group. Looks like Stevenson is in better shape if he can stop fumbling. That'd be great. And then you add Henderson into the mix as well. So exciting times for the Patriots. There's no sort of bullshit going on. It's straight and narrow. And just about a month from now, the season kicks off. So pretty
Yeah.
insane to say that. But any final takes on Patriots training camp or NFL overall, fellas?
I want to say, as well as Drake May, I think Trevion Henderson, now that you mentioned his name, is also having a great
Stud.
camp. People, not just, multiple people are coming out saying this guy
Stud.
has jump in his step and he really looks like he could be a huge component of this offense in this upcoming year. So, the Patriots haven't had that in a long time, a guy that they can rely on to get them yards and score touchdowns. That'd be nice, because they haven't been doing much of that lately. So, um, and then another thing is I know you said something about the injuries and how they're starting to pile up a bit. Thankfully, I think Christian Gonzalez will be fine. It's just a nagging hamstring, but he'll be good to go. But it's just the depth, I think, of the roster right now. If you're going to start losing key contributors that you're expecting to do great things this season, I think our depth will really be tested, and that could to lead to some tricky situations moving forward. So there's something to keep your eye on for sure.
No doubt. I think the coaching is going to help in that regard as well this year, and players being able to step up and fill into roles. That's football, though. Injuries are a big part of it, and how you navigate that and the depth that you have on your roster. What you just mentioned, Gabe, was funny. I saw a video of Vrabel mic'd up at practice the other day, and he asked Drake May, how many touchdowns did you score last year? And May is sort of sitting there trying to think of the number, and Vrabel just goes, "Not enough, you fucking idiot!" Like,
I
so,
I
love
saw
seeing
that. I
him.
love it.
I saw him with Barrymore today. I think it was either today or
yeah,
yesterday with the
yeah.
pads on. He's just like and it's just and like Gerard was out there doing that, but it wasn't. It's got a different feel with Vrabel. It's
No,
just
Loves to bust balls, and I think Matt Collins was out there today with like a shredded up undershirt, and he was just
yeah.
like walked up to him and start like was just staring at him like what the hell,
It
like
did
he's
look
just
that's
like
like a
what
a
Barry.
yeah, I know, but it's just Rabel. I think is like he's a good guy that likes to bust balls, and I think people respect that. Like I think they respect him and they listen to him, so it's a
He's
good thing.
he's the perfect balance of what you want in an NFL coach. He's somebody who has human nature to him, which is what Belichick didn't have or ever really showed.
Yeah,
And you can tell there is this soft side to Mike Vrabel in terms of you've sort of seen it when they were signing free agents, especially his interactions with some of the kids. Doug Kyed, who's a member of the media, had his daughter at a press conference, and Vrabel kicked it off like saying hello to her before he even took questions, and was
yeah,
talking about like sharing can like, are you going to share
yeah,
any candy with me, like so So,
He's a
you know,
stand-up guy. He
he has a
is.
human bone to him, but then, when it's time to drill down and get into football, he's been there, done that on the playing field as well as in the coaching ranks. So he has the respect of the team from that regard. So excited for the Pats. I'm really hopeful this team is just in the mix. Same thing as the Red Sox this year. Like, get to December, be playing meaningful games, and when they show that lovely graphic of the playoffs, like either be in the wild card spot or be in the hunt. Like, give us
Yep.
something. So excited for Patriots football. It's going to be here before we know it. We're going to turn the page, though, talk about the teams that play at the TD Garden. There honestly is not a ton of
Soon to
news
be.
uh, on either of these teams, but let's start with the Celtics. Just anything going on from that standpoint, and we definitely got to talk about what Mr. Steve Pagliuca is doing as well. So anyone can chime in here on the C's. Looks like we have a few notes here.
Yeah. I watched some summer league basketball. I'm sure you guys have talked about it on past podcasts that I haven't been a part of. But they look pretty good. I mean, Jordan Walsh, I think, could contribute this year a bit. I like that rookie Hugo Gonzalez. He looks like he could potentially, he needs obviously is more of a project player, but once he gets going, he could be a good player. Um, and then we have this Charles Bassey kind of came out of nowhere this summer. For some reason or another, he's unable to sign with the Celtics right now. I believe he has a deal maybe with somebody overseas, something of that nature. I could be wrong. But there's reports saying that he wants to sign back with the Celtics. He plays a center position, which the Celtics desperately could take anyone in that position. So, I it's good to see some of the young guys. We're going to need the young guys to kind of step up this season. Baylor Shireman didn't have a great summer league, so how much is he going to help? We'll see. The jury is definitely still out on the Celtics for this season. Um, Guys are coming back healthy, and you still got JB and D White and all these great players. So I don't think they'll be as terrible as maybe I first thought, but
No, I
we'll
think
see.
I think they're going to be a middle of the pack team in the East. I'm hopeful that they can avoid the play-in and get playoff experience for all those guys that you just talked about, Gabe, and get those guys into scenarios where they have to be contributing. Obviously, I don't think anybody has expectations of this team winning a championship this year. They're obviously resetting from a financial perspective. Uh, it does look like Tatum is on the road to
Yeah,
recovery a bit more quickly
that just came
than.
to my mind too. I'm like, Tatum's like already like he's gonna be
Walking.
ready to go like halfway through the season, it looks like.
Yeah.
But I mean that's a discussion probably for another time. But we did do a segment on that like quick bridge or speed
Street
bridge
Bridge. Yep.
procedure that he had, and so far it's looking like it's working like a gem. So I don't know. The expectations for Tatum, we could see him earlier than we really expected.
So here like the theoretical of, let's say we get to March, this team is like fifth in the Eastern Conference, fifth, sixth in that sort of range, maybe on the bubble of the play-in. Do you bring him back? And I honestly think it has more to do with what the landscape of the Eastern Conference may look like, and injuries and other stuff that's going on at that point in time. But if he's ready to rock and roll, why are you going to hold him out an additional
Yes.
6 months when you have an
Yes.
opportunity this year? So
You
uh,
do play him, but I think you do it slowly. You don't
yeah,
you don't count it as okay, we need him to get these points. You count it as we need him to play a certain amount of minutes per game. That's at game speed.
Right.
That's it. It doesn't matter what his contributions are. His contributions can be shit. It's just we want the healing of that Achilles to do what it's supposed to do at the right place. And if he's ready in mid March to start putting weight on it and start making cuts, and the doctors want him to do that, he should.
yeah,
I don't see a reason why he shouldn't.
no, and I
I
think
just say
that
you throw a
there's
minute restriction on
Unless you're
him.
just the most cautious. I mean, there's a lot of money riding on Tatum too, so
That's true. That's
like
true.
they're gonna play it super cautiously. I mean, I also wouldn't put it past them to keep him out the whole year, just like how typical players do it. But just seeing him out of the boot already and kind of just like living life as normal, and it's impressive. His recovery has gone really well, it looks like.
Yeah. Hopeful for Tatum. I think if he can get back out there, that the confidence of coming back at that point in time and then having a full summer, after potentially getting some games under his belt to get ready for 26, 27. And then you kind of look at the contracts with him and Brown, and you get to a 2 year window of how their contracts line up. And I think almost the same way that they went and got Porzingis and Holiday. Look at the trade market, look at the free agency market, and who else they might bring in to load up for like a 2-3 year window there. Excited for the C's. Training camp gets underway in September for them. We're going to shift gears here to the Bruins, wrap things up and around town. Not a ton of news going on, but Gabe, I think you just wanted to talk a little bit about expectations for the team and anything going on in Bruins land.
Yeah, honestly, not. It's pretty quiet right now. Free agency has passed. Obviously not the most impressive free agency class coming in this year. Um, you got James Higgins in the draft, which we all know at this point. He's going back to Boston College for the year. Officially announced that, I believe, last week. So James Higgins could be in that potential role to if the Bruins somehow made the playoffs, he could be available to join the team. That would be cool to see, but my expectations, yeah, the Eagle
Jaron,
has landed.
Jaron Duran,
I
3-1
was about to say
blast.
John Duran just hit a home run.
Oh
Airplane
shit!
I was just looking at
celebration
that.
in effect.
I thought you were doing a BC Eagle or something.
5-0, right? I think it's 5 to
That's
nothing Red Sox.
no,
I
that's
can't
that
see.
St. Joe Eagle that never fucking stops.
Oof. That was a slider. That was down. That was a slider mill out.
Oh wow, he took that out.
Yeah, he
Nice
crushed it in center field.
Yeah, so
Sorry,
the
Gabe.
Sox, no, it's all good. Sox are continuing to just lay it on teams, which is
Mash,
great.
baby.
Nah.
But yeah, my expectations for the Bruins this year, I would say, are pretty fairly low. Um, it's funny because I gave Don Sweeney, he signed a 2 year contract extension, so I feel like he has 2 years to figure this out, or else he's gone, and maybe Cam Neely too. Um, and this is not a great start, to that 2 year clock. I know they drafted a great player and they had a good draft, but those players take time to blossom and turn into good players. And the free agent class it was just kind of like Don Sweeney doesn't want to get bullied around the ice, but like he forgets that like they have to score goals, and like this league is faster and quicker now, and he's signing guys that are old and more of grinders than anything. So it's like that doesn't really give me as a Bruins fan like much hope. But one thing that we always talk about is you can lean on our core three players, I would say, is Swayman to have a better season and really help out this team. McAvoy coming off that terrible injury and infection and all that, like he just needs a fresh season to reboot. And then Pastrnak is Pastrnak. So those three players can get this team going. And then it's up to the rest of the team to kind of fall in line.
Yeah, biggest thing is Swayman in net. Does he return to form and get back to being a top 5 or 10 goalie in the league? Hopefully, without all the contract and nonsense from the offseason last year hanging over him, that they have the opportunity to mesh and sort of get things going on the right foot this year. So hopeful from that standpoint. Look, I don't know enough about who the Bruins have brought in and what their draft class looks like to really get a feel for what the expectations are at this point in time. But for me, this team, the bar is always getting into the playoffs for the Bruins, and they've had pretty good success rates since the mid 2000s at doing that. And I think that goes hand in hand, Gabe, with what you were talking about with Sweeney and Neely. If they get to the playoffs and no matter what the run is, that's sort of like the Bruins bar, if you will, in terms of success. So hopefully they can get back to that. And as we know, NHL playoffs, anything can happen there. So
That's right.
that's around town, fellas. Everything going on around the Boston sports landscape. Before we pivot, any final takes? Anything that's burning you guys up? Anything else we want to throw out on the table here? Otherwise we can turn the corner into Big E's favorite segment.
I
Ah,
know.
let's
Without
take a
Biggie,
turn.
it's
Without
I know.
Biggie.
All right, I'm gonna do my best here to set us up as we know the things we don't like, the things that are bugging us, and there are a few things we got to talk about this week. Those are the yeah-ohs, and the things that we
Things that
love,
we
the
like.
things that are stupendous, the things that make us get up out of our chairs. They are the Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's good. That was good. That was good. I like that.
Yeah, I try not to break the microphone if I'm gonna have to do it, so we leave that to Big E. But
My
let's get it.
ears, thank you.
Let's
Yeah, I know, right?
yeah, for sure. Let's get things rocking and rolling here. We got the first. Oh yeah, we did just bring this up in the NBA segment, but let's talk the Sun currently not number one, but they could be coming to Boston.
They are coming to Boston. Stu Pagliuca with a what was it, $100 million deal to get the Suns.
325.
325.
325. It was $100 million training center. I'm sorry. I got my millions mixed up. Um, yeah, no, we've talked about that in past episodes. So to see it kind of come to fruition and to see that actually happen, I'd love to pull up one of those clips about how we talk about hoping that they actually come here. They're now here. Will they remain the Suns? That's to be seen. I mean, I didn't see anything about, I don't know if you guys did, whether or not they're going to keep the same name. But
No.
is what it is. It sounds like the Celtics are going to have their own building. The Suns are going to have their own building. And I think it's great. I love it. Sun on
It
number
seems
one.
like, yeah, I mean, it seemed inevitable at this point because the WNBA is definitely growing right now. With fans that are watching, and you've got expansion teams like the Golden State Valkyrie, and they're adding teams, I think, to Detroit and Philadelphia. So it's like at that point, it's like, how does Boston not have a team?
Yeah.
Right.
And it was only a matter of time, in my opinion,
Yeah.
that someone did purchase the Connecticut Suns and move them to Boston. And I really hope this goes through. I don't think anything's set in stone just yet, but
Yeah.
it's just like I'm sorry to people that live in Connecticut, but it's just misery. Like you're playing in a casino,
Thanks for
and
84. That's
and
about
it's
it.
like a kid-friendly league that you have to bring your kid through a casino with all these degenerates, and it's like it's just not a good
Yeah.
situation
Smoke.
down there. And I think coming to Boston is the right move. It's got to be the right move.
No doubt. I think it's the market's there. We've seen it when they've played games at the Garden and sellouts. Good for Pags, who obviously got boned with the Celtics in that acquisition. So I think it'd be great to bring a team up here, and whether they're the Sun or not. I didn't even it all came together to me that like the Mohegan tribe owns the Connecticut Sun, which is
Whoa.
they're about to cash in here from
Yeah.
Pagliuca. So you may see some new bells and whistles coming into the
Maybe a
Mohegans.
five-star reservation.
Some casino. Some new
Don't
restaurants.
expect anyone to get any raises, I'll tell you that.
Oh God. We're not
Maybe
gonna
the
get
higher ups.
well, who knows? If you serve beer and hot dogs at Fenway Park, you ain't getting any raises either, apparently. So
You're striking
Nope.
right now.
yeah, everyone's still there buying their wiener and drinking their $12 Sam Adams. So what does John Henry care?
All I
Yeah.
gotta say is the best thing that I saw was we all went up there for a game, Josh. I don't know if you were with us, but I think you were with us. There was that kid, he had a jersey on and then he had a plain white tee on. And underneath the jersey, he had a drawstring backpack with a bunch of nips in his bag. And
It's the
he
way
just
to
bought a
do it.
Coca-Cola. I was like, this kid's fucking smart. He's smart up here.
You gotta, if bring your own libations, bring your own spirits, and make the game what it is for yourself.
Sorry, John, but we
Uh,
gotta do what we gotta do because you charge too much, dude.
Indeed. All right. A few other oh yeahs. We got the big Brady statue coming out on Friday. As long as they didn't fuck it up, that's what matters most. We've seen way too
I
many
cannot wait to
statues.
see it.
I'm hopeful. It's got to. I think it's going to be one of three things. It's got to be him holding the Lombardi, either at the first Super Bowl or the comeback one where he was like angry with it.
Or it might just be the
Like
Right,
the
it might
throwing
just be
motion.
him in the throwing motion, like in the pocket, like Clydesdale Brady. I'd be
I think
completely fine with that as well.
I think you're spot on. A Lombardi trophy is definitely going to be part of it.
yeah.
I feel
yeah.
like it has to be.
Hopefully.
Let us
So
know what you guys think.
we'll see. Yeah, dude, yeah, give us your guesses. Another oh yeah here. I'm wearing the shirt this evening, and I would say collectively one of our favorite bands, the new incarnation of it, the Grateful Dead, now Dead and Company. Kraz has got his artwork right behind him there as he's pointing to
Some
it.
really good artwork, actually. That was drawn by somebody on LSD.
And they go and bang out 50,000, 60,000 people a night at Golden Gate Park in San Fran, where the origins of the
Real.
band are. Some great shows, some great guest appearances of Billy String, Sturgill Simpson, Trey Anastasio.
Got it
Uh,
on the phone.
and it was awesome to
Thank you,
see.
Jenny.
Any takes from the Dead and Co. 60th celebration? It's crazy that they made it to this because if you recall back in 2015 when they did fare thee well in Chicago at I think it was Soldier Field at that time. Nobody really knew what the future of the Dead was, and here they are 10 years later, still jamming and rocking out. So it's awesome to see.
Yeah, no, I mean it, brings us back to, when Gabe and I and the rest of the crew went out west to follow them and see them there. You know, my one of my friends, Jenny, down in Jacksonville, our Jacksonville correspondent, is also Deadhead and gave me the Nugs login, so I'll be able to listen to the shows. He bought them all and was just like, "Oh, this isn't," it was a great show. So everything from what I'm hearing between the Grateful Dead groups and things like that is they absolutely killed it, and John did what John does, and he played the shit out of the guitar, and they're just gonna they're gonna continue to keep the music going because that's what this band is. That's what they've always been about.
No doubt, no doubt. Love the Dead.
Very
Uh,
good. Yeah, one thing I would say is it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I kind of wish they would make or like put out a single or like make an album or something like of like new Grateful Dead, Dead and Co. music. But I feel like people would hate that take, and
But Gabe, that's a
it'd be kind of
great
cool though.
take, though. No, that's a great take because think about it. When we were at Fenway, they did Doc Star on the Big River Jam, and then we went to San Fran, and then they made it a thing by that point. So if it's a jam, if it's a song, I don't think it's out of the realm of
They
possibilities for
could
them to
also
do.
expand their catalog a little bit too. They still have plenty
Yeah,
of
yeah.
songs they haven't played.
You're still gonna piss off old heads regardless anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The old
Yeah,
hippies, you're still
can't
gonna
make everyone
get mad
happy.
because it's not Jerry Garcia. So
Right. And that's the we didn't have the great fortune of really experiencing the Dead when it was Jerry and the first incarnation of it. But I think that's the magic of the Dead is that it's been passed down, two, if not three generations at this point. And that's, a band that stands that test of time and 60 years of music. You're talking 1965 when these guys got
and
started. So
And
it's
and one quick
unbelievable.
last thing to party with the guys that were around with Jerry. Um, when they say to you, "Oh my God, man, I haven't seen Haight and Ashbury." So just for the listeners, Haight and Ashbury is in San Francisco. It's kind of where everything started. Bob Dylan lived with these guys. This is like hippie central. And this guy was like, "Oh, I haven't seen Haight and Ashbury like this since the 70s." And like that to me told me that, it was back, but it's not your mainstream Taylor Swift music. That's never going to be that.
Nope.
But those old heads will always live in infamy, whether it's the people that I saw in San Francisco or the woman that Gabe and I saw at D'Angelo's before the concert who told us that she was climbing on the scaffolding at Glen Watkins in '84. So it's just it's it's cool to see.
Yeah, stories for days when it comes to the Dead. One day we'll have to just do a solo episode, a Grateful Dead special, and recount some of the stories that we have of our own
Same.
from our many endeavors. Let's talk a couple O's here. The first one is Tony Mazz up in John Henry's box
I didn't see this.
having
Yeah.
having some ice. No, this was unbelievable, and there was a photo
He
of
usually
him
shits all over him.
with Henry on Friday night at the game, and as Krause just said, he's always dumping on him. There's that famous interview from like 10, 11 years ago when Henry came into the sports hub. Oh, my light just went out. That's why I'm dark now. So we'll go in the darkness here the rest of
Yeah.
the way.
Ta, ta,
Oh,
ta,
Yeah,
ta.
but that's okay. I think it was unbelievable. I mean, here's a guy who dumps on John Henry left and right, asks him what happens to the team when you die, and then he's licking his boots up in the box the other day, and then cowardly, just a fucking coward today on the radio. They don't even address it until 2 hours into the show. Just like what a fucking fraud. That's what it comes down to with Mass. Like that's the part. Like their ratings are down big time. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I love Felger and Mazz. They've done a great job for 15 years, whatever it is at this point. But like, fuck you. Like, what a fraud. What a just complete fraud. Like, you're gonna trash them, and then you're gonna go, have your
Eat
your
shrimp
shrimp.
cocktail.
Yeah, you're gonna go get your shrimp cocktail and your lobster roll, and get, your gin and tonic or whatever, and play patty cake for a little bit, and then come back today and try and rip the team. It's like, fuck off.
Claudia, you could tell too, like on the radio today, Felger was like not like a fan of Maz. Like I could just like tell in his tone. And I think outside the show they don't really hang out, or I've heard they don't like really necessarily get along too well. But you could just like tell he was like you, like just like you said, like you fraud, like you're such a fraud for doing that.
Yeah, I mean, Felger's a fraud in his own way. I mean, he's like,
Not even from here. Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
not even from here, trashing the teams left and right. It's the same deal. They're in bed with the teams. Look at the radio station and the games that they have on there. Listen, they've been doing the same song and dance forever when it comes to that. And then you got Big Jim, I love Big Jim, but
Big
everything just
Jim's.
seems to rub him the wrong way and piss him off. And it's like I don't know, something has to happen with them because it's getting a little stale and a little bit and it's crazy to see, the station across the street just slowly inching their way up in the ratings and starting to get relevance again. So the radio world is an interesting one, fellas. But
Dog eat dog world.
Tony Maz, you are a fraud. That's what it
Fraud.
comes down to. All right, last Yahoo here, and then we'll wrap things up on the episode. A sad one, as a couple weeks ago we had the passing of Ozzy Osborne, legend, Hulk Hogan, legend. So
Um,
Sammy K, I know you got a few
Jack.
words on this.
Yeah. I mean, I like obviously loved Hulk Hogan. But more so Ozzy. Few celebrity deaths have really affected me. Really the biggest two have been Ozzy and what's his name there? Robin Williams. Those two guys were really like the big celebrity deaths that affected me. And I didn't think really Ozzy would, but young blood, who's an English artist, kind of said it perfectly when he was talking to Ozzy backstage. He said in his English accent, "You made it okay to be fucking mad, mate." And he did. He made it okay to be rock and roll, and he started that, and to follow with Metal and the bands that followed, like Metallica and Disturbed, and everything that follows it. It's just he was an icon beyond icons, and if you had the chance to watch the show growing up, living with the Osbournes, he was just such a character, and he was just so funny and just such a good guy. Obviously we all have our own vices and stuff like that, but this is more of a oh yeah for me because he made it okay to be weird, and that was an outlet for a lot of people. And I saw a lot of guys with a lot of tattoos and a lot of piercings crying. So that just has to tell you something. So I'll let you
Yeah.
guys talk about your Ozzy influence. Oh, and one of the first songs I ever learned how to play on the guitar was Crazy Train. So again, Ozzy's just been there for me and love the guy.
Yeah, the catalog of his music is second to none. I don't know if you saw any of the clips from that farewell show he did at the beginning of
Uh,
July, which was oddly and weirdly like a living funeral, if you will. But incredibly emotional show there. You could tell, how much that meant to him and the fans that were there. The show that he had, reality TV, he was a big sort of personality to open the doors for all the shit that we see now from a reality TV standpoint. He crawled so the Kardashians could run, if you will. And you
yeah,
know,
please, listeners, look up Ozzy highlights from that show.
oh,
I mean, he argues with the ocean and tells it to go back to Alaska. It's just the guy's great.
tells the cat to fuck off.
Bill,
The
Gus, whatever the fuck your name is.
the Prince of Darkness, and I ain't having no bubbles at my show.
I'm the
Like,
Prince of fucking Darkness, Sharon. I can't have bubbles.
yeah,
Oh,
just
he's great. He's great.
incredible sound bites. And a legend. I think one thing is we have some musical connections here on the podcast, and obviously cousin Sam from Ripe and cousin Sam and his family we got cousin Rob as well, if you will. Rob was the drummer in Skid Row, Rob Afuso, and was on tour with Ozzy, and has confirmed that the shit that you've seen in movies and the dirt and stories that you've heard are all accurate and true, and that Ozzy was as crazy as portrayed. But you could obviously tell deep down he had a heart of gold and had a huge influence on other artists and certainly people. So rest in peace, and Hulk
Love you,
Hogan as
Oz.
well. A wrestler and checkered sort of things off the wrestling mat, if you
Politics
will.
aside,
But
the guy was a wrestling icon.
yeah,
He
so
was.
those two that week were big losses, but that's the way the world goes, friends. Unfortunately, we come in, we get out, and it keeps on spinning. So we're gonna
Three
spin this.
things can't avoid.
Yeah, we're gonna spin this right home on the Pike Sox versus Kansas City and Houston this week. Pats versus Washington on Friday, first preseason game. Guests coming up. We got some great guests. Pete Shepard, formerly of WEEI, joins us next week talking all things going on in Boston sports. We're gonna catch up with him, see what he's doing down in Florida. Then we got Trevor Haas on with us the week after. Gonna
Good
talk
buddy, Trevor.
BC football. First ever guest on the show. Also set the table for college football, what we're looking at there. And then the week after that, the return of Maury Hirsch-Gordon, helping us get ready for training camp for Celtics and Bruins and set things up for September when it comes to the Pats and Sox. So excited to have our guests rejoin us, and looking forward to seeing you fellas on Friday. We got a big day for the pod Friday, so we'll see you then. And a pre-congratulations to Mr. Big E and the missus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a good time, boys. So look forward to seeing all your beautiful faces
Gonna
It'll
be a
be
good
good
one.
and giving you
time.
guys big hugs.
All right, near far, wherever you are. Appreciate you tuning in. We will see you next time on the Boston Sports Brothers podcast.
Ereto.
Peace.
Adios.